Well, this week's Monday meditation comes from Colossians. Once again, we're going to read Colossians chapter 4, verses 2 through 6. Let me challenge you, if you haven't been tuning in to our Monday meditations over the last several weeks, do so because you'll get the flow of what Paul is communicating to the church at Colossae, especially these verses we're going to read today. They immediately follow Colossians chapter 3, verses 18 through chapter 4, verse 1. And Colossians 3, verse 18 through chapter 4, verse 1, which was last week's Monday meditation, Paul is articulating to the church at Colossae how their relationships with the people they're closest to, family and co-workers and people they really have a close relationship to, should be impacted by the gospel. And now in chapter 4, verse 2 through verse 6, he is going to talk about how the gospel and being in Christ should impact the way we communicate with people on the outside, people we aren't as intimately related to. And so I trust it'll be a challenge and encouragement to you as you begin your week. So once again, Colossians chapter 4, verses 2 through 6. Continue steadfastly in prayer, being watchful in it with thanksgiving. At the same time, pray also for us, that God may open to us a door for the word to declare the mystery of Christ, on account of which I'm in prison, that I may make it clear which is how I ought to speak. Walk in wisdom toward outsiders, making the best use of the time. Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each person. Those verses we just read are packed full. So verse 2, continue steadfastly in prayer, being watchful in it with thanksgiving. First challenge this week, continue steadfastly in prayer, be watchful in your prayer with thanksgiving. Let that just be kind of the pattern this week of your life. And I really love how Paul leads with that. When we're going to read about, we've read about our interaction with non-believers or outsiders. In order for us to properly engage with and interact with people who are outside of the faith, we need to make sure that we are walking closely with the Lord. That's why we need to continue steadfastly in prayer, which will enable us to do the rest of the things Paul says in these verses. And so Paul asks the church at Colossae to pray for him, that he'll be able to share boldly and clearly the gospel. And then beginning in verse 5 and verse 6, he says, and also you walk in wisdom with outsiders. Let your speech be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you know how to answer, you know how to communicate with people. And so that's the challenge this week. I encourage you to make that kind of a daily prayer, that you would pray to God, Lord, help me to be wise in my speech today. Whoever I interact with today, help me to know what to say and what not to say. And trust me, in my own personal experience, when that is the posture of your heart, you will be amazed as how God opens up doors for you to share the gospel, to share truth, to defend truth with people that come into your pathway. Paul makes it clear here in verse number 4 and verse 5, we need to make the best use of the time. You might only have one shot to talk to someone. Make sure that you're taking advantage of that opportunity. You're not wasting time. You're not being unnecessarily aggressive or unnecessarily provocative, but that your speech is such that it points people clearly to the cross of Jesus, because everyone needs that. Our family, our co-workers, and the cashier at the store, or the person that delivers groceries to your house, we all need Jesus. And if you're a follower of Jesus, God has given you the command and the opportunity to share that truth. And so I trust that this week you will find opportunities to do that. Well, we hope that you have a wonderful week. God bless.